Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and get started by reciting the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Gnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hey, welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning. We're going to read Canto 3, Chapter 33, verse 28 and 29. I'll first go through the verses, reading the verses, and then see if we can have a little discussion. Read verse 28 first. Taddeha parata posho अकृशाश्चाद्यन्त असम्भवत् बभौ मलैरवच्छन्नः सधूम इव पावकः तद्देह परतः पोषो अप्यकृशश्चात् आद्यसम्भवात् बभौ मलैरवच्छन्नः सधूम इव पावकः. Let's look at the word to word meaning. Taddeha, her body, Paratah, by others, the damsels created by Kardama, Poshaha, maintained, Api, although, Akrishaha, not thin, Cha, and Adi, anxiety, Asambhavat, from not occurring, Babhav, shown, Malai, by dust, Avachannaha, covered, Sadhumaha, surrounded with smoke, Iva, like, Pavakaha, a fire. Translation. Her body was being taken care of by the spiritual damsels created by her husband Kardama. And since she had no mental anxiety at that time, her body did not become thin. She appeared just like a fire surrounded by smoke. Purport, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Because she was always in transcendental bliss, the thought of the personality of Godhead was always carefully fixed in her mind. She did not become thin, for she was taken care of by the celestial maidservants created by her husband. It is said, according to the Ayurvedic medical science, that if one is free from anxieties, he generally becomes fat. Devahuti, being situated in Krishna consciousness, had no mental anxieties, and therefore her body did not become thin. It is customary in the renounced order of life that one should not take any service from a servant or maid, but Devahuti was being served by the celestial maidservants. This may appear to be against the spiritual concept of life, but just as fire is still beautiful even when surrounded by smoke, she looked completely pure, although it seemed that she was living in a luxurious way. Let's go to the next verse, verse 29. Swangam tapo yogamayam muktakesham katambaram daivaguptam nabubude vasudeva pravishtadihi. One more time. Swangam tapo yogamayam muktakesham gatambaram daivaguptam nabubude vasudeva pravishtadihi. Word to word meaning. Swangam, her body, tapaha, austerity, yoga practice, mayam, fully engaged in, mukta, loosened, kesham, her hair, gata, disarrayed, ambaram, her garments, daiva, by the Lord, guptam, protected, na, not, bubude, she was aware of, Vasudeva, in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, pravishta, absorbed, the, in her thoughts. Translation. Because she was always absorbed in the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she was not aware that sometimes her hair was loosened or her garments were disarrayed. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, the word Daiva Guptam, protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is very significant. Once one surrenders unto the service of the Supreme Lord, once one surrenders unto the service of Supreme Lord, the Lord takes charge of the maintenance of the devotee's body, and there is no need of anxiety for its protection. It is said in the second chapter, second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that a fully surrendered soul has no anxiety about the maintenance of his body. The Supreme Lord takes care of the maintenance of innumerable species of bodies. Therefore, one who fully engages in his service will not go unprotected by the Supreme Lord. Devahuti was naturally mindful of the protection of her body, which was being taken care of by the Supreme Person. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So let's take a look at some of the points that we can discuss from these two verses. So we are reading third canto, 33rd chapter, 28 and 29, where the chapter is entitled Activities of Kapila. So here Devahuti, who is a great devotee of the Lord, and her son, who is the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Kardama Muni left, after which she was in a lot of grievance, and Kapila Dev gave her instructions. Now he also left after giving the instructions. So she was alone at home. And she was practicing austerities, like, voluntarily taking some inconvenience for the purpose of making the spiritual advancement. Like, for example, in this cold weather, we're trying to get up in the morning to do our sadhana, which is also kind of an voluntary inconvenience that we take so that we can get the spiritual benefit of, doing our spiritual practice in the morning. Or, some voluntary acceptance of, of some conditioning that we have, some, habits that we have, so that we can get rid of those in for the betterment of our spiritual practices. So here, basically, the discussion is about how Devahuti was, very mindful in fixing herself in the spiritual practice, in the supreme, the fixing her mind on the supreme personality of Godhead, and how in the verse 29 the word is mentioned, um, which is called Daiva Guptam, protected by the supreme personality of Godhead. So it, this was very reinforcing. Like, for example, when we dedicate our time, or when we dedicate our resources, or when we dedicate ourselves, sometimes people say that when we do a lot of good things, why we get bad. But we have to, this verse enforces Daivaguptam, the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and shows that, and it re-emphasizes the fact that when we fix our mind into the service of the Supreme Lord, how Lord gives protection. And God helps us at several instances. Prabhupada mentioned in one of the lectures, and even an elephant in the forest is taken care. Verse 28 is also mentioned. Prabhupada mentions Supreme Lord takes care of the maintenance of innumerable species of bodies. Like all the, he protects all the species on this earth. Likewise, when we fix our mind on the service of the Supreme Lord, he has given us a promise that he will protect. So here, Devahuti is now being fixed, absorbed in the supreme thought of supreme personality of Godhead. Sometimes she is not aware of what's happening with her physical condition, but there is always the protection of the supreme personality of Godhead. Because we do, when we take shelter of the supreme personality of Godhead, our heart becomes pure. And when we perceive, and then we perceive Krishna's presence, and because we feel connected to Krishna. So we do this process, our whole emphasis in connecting to the service, like, when we do service at the temple, or we chant, we hear, like how we are trying to read Srimad Bhagavatam now. These are all the activities that we do towards connecting to the Lord, so that we can get the spiritual benefit, and we can become closer to Krishna. And in many verses in Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, Krishna mentions, if we do a small endeavor, if we put one step towards him, he will come 10 steps towards us. That's the eagerness that the Lord has in order to take us back. So, for example, is, patram pushpam palam, even if we offer a small leaf, water, a fruit, or anything, it's a very simple endeavor from our side. Takes us a long way towards our spiritual practices. So, based on which, that should become a very reinforcing factor in our spiritual practice. Whenever we feel like, it is becoming rhetoric, or it is too monotonous, or it is becoming, why we should do it, when do we see the result. But these kind of verses kind of give emphasis of the instructions, that through Devahuti, or where Kapila Devi is giving instructions to, they are telling us, they are giving us the reassurance that, by surrendering unto Krishna, what can happen, what is the benefit. And it kind of gives a motivation every single day to do our spiritual practice as well. So, and Krishna is not expecting to do a big Herculean task. It's only engaging our dovetailing our every single service that we do, every act that we do, to remember him, to direct every single activity of ours as much as possible towards him, so that we remember him. The whole purpose here, what Devotee is doing is fixing her mind onto the fixing her mind onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, aligning her thoughts towards Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, which, if for every devotee or every sadhaka, that's the whole purpose. All the activities that we do, are all the instructions that we have received from Srila Prabhupada, um, are are in the direction to help us to do that, so that we can get the benefit of getting the shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. So it was very interesting. One parallel I was drawing, I was, when what do we have the living examples of one who has taken the shelter and who hasn't worried about how their life goes, how the promise of Krishna taking care of us when we dedicate ourselves is. I think all our spiritual masters that we are, some of them who that we're fortunate to see and hear, because they when they entered that their sannyasa, they didn't know. I mean, they didn't know how their life would be for starting from day one, but they have just dedicated their life completely with complete trust and belief that Krishna is going to take care of them. Krishna is going to provide them the enough shelter. Krishna is going to provide whatever is required from then on. So and we are seeing that Krishna is protecting them. So we have an immediate example for any at any point of time that we get any question or doubt or a or anxiety, because many a times we have anxiety. Oh, what if I don't have a job next month? Or what if I don't earn enough? How is my and last stage of life going to be? I mean, we have these are all practical questions that we face every day. What if I don't get my paycheck next month or this next week? What? But here it shows, these verses explain that if we take our shelter, rest all are taken care. It doesn't mean that we don't have to do our endeavor, but yes, the endeavor in the right sense, which is directed towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, like when we think, when we hanker for these kind of things, it is said that Krishna will always and always, always provide us the required things. Some things might go away, but it is only for the betterment of us. Not that, oh, we need to be deprived or something, but that is only for the benefit of our spiritual progress. Those are some of the points that I was able to see. It was for me, it was very, very reinforcing that, to stop worrying, to not, so there is no, to stop having a little less anxiety of the future and live in the present, and live with what the instructions that we receive. We can open for some discussion now if anybody has anything to share. Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanvat Pranam. Good to hear from you after a long time. And as usual, it is a so nectarian class. It is not only for you, but every one of us. We need to have that kind of thinking, right? That God is there to take care of us, and a little less worry than actually anxiety, not worry also, that we always have made that on our family or on our future. And the description you gave about Devabhuti Mataji, that was very, very wonderful. Actually, even if she is not taking care of her body and other things, I'm understanding that celestial ladies that are arranged by Kardama Muni before he leaves, right? They are still with her and taking care of her. That's what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, they were arranged by
Mm-hmm.
Kardama Muni, but
Yeah,
it didn't matter for her because she is just fixed in her mind.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think
So all
that's
the
much.
basic requirements are taken care for her by the celestial ladies, maybe.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, so that she can focus all her time towards the
yes,
meditation.
yes. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else wants to share anything? Okay. Okay. Nothing. Thank you, everybody, for
Thank
joining.
you.
Yes,
Class.
sir. Thank you.